Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 131 at scavengerlife.com. Now today, Jay and I are really excited to talk to Martin from garbagefinds.com because he is a true scavenger. He looks for things in the trash in Montreal and he sells it on eBay. Pretty cool.
Today we're talking to a Martin from garbagefinds.com. Hey, Martin.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. We've been talking the last several months, and we're kind of big fans of your blog because unlike a lot of blogs you read online about finding and selling things, you're like a true scavenger, and our blog is called Scavenger Life, so we're really big fans. And the neat thing about it is that we've really seen you kind of evolve over the past several months. I mean, I guess your blog started like in October. Is that right?
Well, the blog's been going about 2 years now.
Oh, 2 years. Okay. For some reason.
But it's gotten a lot better over the last few months, yeah.
But I think that's the neat thing is that when people go to your blog at garbagefinds.com, they'll kind of see you figuring things out, and that's always really exciting for those of us who are doing this. And I guess the whole hook that you have is that you're finding your items in the trash. And that is the trash that people put out on the side of the street, for the garbage to pick up. And you're going in there and finding the most amazing items that you can imagine, the stuff we love, the one-of-a-kind kind of antique, vintage items that people are just throwing away. And you're grabbing it, saving it, and then you're selling it. So you're making a living for it yourself, but you're also giving it a second life. And, and that's really the stuff we love. Could you just kind of talk about how you started doing that in the blog?
Well, I guess I've been working as an amateur garbage picker ever since I moved away from home. I grew up in a small town, and once I moved to the city, I saw all this cool stuff on the curb, and I guess that kind of sparked my interest in garbage. At first, it was just like furniture I'd take home and furnish my apartment and stuff like that. But over time, I learned better how to sell, especially with eBay and stuff like that.
And, I think that's neat because, a lot of us, especially if you're like in college, that's a pretty typical thing. You're grabbing stuff out of the trash, you're decorating at your home with stuff that you're finding. But you're kind of taking it to the next step after that.
Yeah, well, I'm just really good at what I do, I guess. So
yeah,
like once you start seeing all the amazing things, and I guess I just have an eye for like value and whatever, seeing where things are hidden away and stuff like that.
Do you have a regular schedule and a list of areas where you're hitting up?
Yeah, that's one thing I've worked on a lot in the last few months, actually. Yeah, scheduling, like this day I'm going to do eBay listings and things like that. But I do have like a regular, there's a bunch of different neighborhoods I'll go to, some of them further away, some of them closer, some of them by bike and some of them by car. And I guess every city has something like this, but Montreal's is, I basically can go out 5 days a week. Wow. And sometimes multiple times in a day. There's an infinite amount of work I could be doing in terms of
because there's so much garbage, right? Or so much stuff. So why don't we, sketch a picture for people? So let's say it's, whatever, Tuesday or just pick any day, and you're in a car. So you drive to a neighborhood and you park at the beginning of the neighborhood and then just start to walk around?
Usually I just drive around the streets.
Okay.
Search for bigger piles of garbage. Like sometimes you'll see like in front of a house, there'll be more bags than you would normally expect. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I'll take a look, although you can sometimes tell that bags aren't very good. Otherwise, like for me, I look at them, and sometimes like a saggy bag isn't a good thing. That's usually like food or something.
Garbage juice.
Yeah.
Garbage juice. Yeah, there's a lot of that. and there's a lot of like a dusty bag is usually like renovation supplies and stuff. But I also keep an eye out for sale signs.
Yep.
That's like a big sign.
Yeah.
Like for me, that there might be something good.
Or I can imagine if there's like a bunch of bags of trash, but then there's also like some furniture or like some boxes or items on the outside as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those are also good signs.
Yep.
I like seeing boxes.
So you drive and park right next to the pile, and then you get out, and then you just start to open bags and start scavenging through them?
Usually I give them usually I'll give them a little kick.
Yep.
Just a light kick, just to feel what's inside. Because that's like the first step. You might kick and then you're like, oh, this feels terrible. And you'll get a feel for that once you do it often enough.
Yep.
I also sometimes will lift the bag and see how heavy it is. The heavier, the better.
Yep.
Generally. So I mean, it's very like you have to trust all your senses. You have to trust how things sound and how things look, feel, stuff like that. So yeah, before I even open the bags, I'll go through this kind of screening process, I guess.
These are music to the ears of a scavenger. I love hearing about
tips.
this.
These are great
This
tips.
is like so much, and this is so much more fun than the people that just go to like a Goodwill or Savers or just like a thrift store and they just like buy stuff off the rack. I mean, this is a real fun scavenging. Now, on It's Your Blog is a great resource, and you kind of go through the steps of etiquette and dealing with people that come out. So, I mean, how often are you going through the bags and someone comes out and
seeing people, and talking to them?
Talks to you?
Often enough, yeah.
Every single time?
No, might even just be like 25% or something like that. Like it's not that often, but it's often enough that it's something you have to deal with. And like I'm still trying to figure out how best to deal with people who come out and talk to me. Like,
how do you deal with people? I mean, are they weirded out that you're like grabbing all their old stuff?
Yeah, I mean, some people are really cool. Sometimes, like the other day, some guy came out his front door and then motioned to me like, "Come into my garage. I have stuff. I'll give you." So sometimes people will just outright give you more stuff.
Right. I mean, people are probably happy that you're going to take it and do something. It's with it, right?
Oh, totally. Some people are happy that their old junk actually has value, I guess, like, or that someone cares enough to take it. Some people are like weirded out, sketched out, or angry,
Yeah.
And like I think a lot of people are afraid of identity theft or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
they're afraid. Yeah, they'll take your old papers and like I've never seen anyone do that actually, but in all my years of garbage picking, but that's something people are afraid of.
Yeah, it seems like there's probably easier ways to steal people's identity, but I hear you. Now, are you actually did you normally just take the entire bag and then go through it later, or are you actually picking things apart and just pulling what you want on the street at the moment?
I usually go through everything on the street at the moment, unless there's like once in a while I'll just throw an entire bag. Like the other day I found a bag full of boots. I'm just like, I'm just going to throw this whole bag in the car.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Jay's dying.
Like nice boots.
Jesus.
My friend told me they're like $80, $100 new.
Oh my
What?
God.
That is crazy.
Yeah, rich people.
Rich people, yeah.
And do you think that it's mainly just people who are too lazy
to give it to Goodwill,
give it away, or to give it to a thrift store, or why do they do that?
Yeah, that might be part of it. I think a lot of people just don't care.
Yeah.
I think there's so much. I don't know. We have so much that some people have a hard time seeing the value and even bothering to. Like, for a lot of people, it's just a question of buying something else. They don't really see the whole process, that waste and all that. They just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that, about how the reason why we can do what we do is because, especially in America and I guess Canada too, there's just so much abundance that we could probably live for a generation just off the stuff that's already been made. So.
Oh, totally. That's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, and so tell us any more of like etiquette tips. So you go through the bags, but I'm assuming you tie up the bags and you keep it neat, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main point is not to make a mess.
Right.
So I mean, that's just bad for business, but it's also not a nice thing to do. So, like if someone catches you and you have made a mess, then that's actually like something like you can get fined for that by police or whatever. Like garbage picking is kind of this weird legal gray zone.
Right.
But if you start like actually littering and stuff, then you'll have issues. So I mean, just in general, it's good not to I'm always very careful not to make a mess or leave it in a situation that the bags can rip whenever the garbage men come and pick them up or whatever. It's just good practice.
Yeah. Now, when you're going out and scavenging, are you noticing there's a lot of other people doing the same thing, or is it pretty much all just you?
It's pretty much just me, honestly. Like I see other people picking up cans or scrap metal and stuff like that. That's not my business. I've never really seen anyone that I think's doing what I'm doing, or at least doing it as well as I am.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of stigmas, and there's a lot of things. Like, first of all, like all the garbage days are in the morning. So if you have a full-time job, you can't really do what I do. Right. So I mean, there's just a lot of barriers. that make it so I'm probably the only one.
And when if you find a pile of stuff and if you're going through it, are you spending like half an hour in front of someone's house, or is there a need to kind of be real fast and hurry?
There's not necessarily a need to be fast. I've definitely spent like half an hour.
Wow.
And there's certain situations where I've spent 2 or 3 hours, and it's just been total insanity. You know?
What?
That's a long time.
So you'll be like 2 and 3 hours in front of a person's house going through their garbage?
Yeah, well, especially, it really depends. Like, sometimes people put out, like, they have to empty an entire apartment or something, and they put everything out on the curb.
Wow.
Especially if you're, like, maybe even now that I'm driving around more, like, that wouldn't happen as often. But when I was biking around, like, there's only so much you can take. Right. So you have to just sort through. And sometimes it is mixed in with a lot of junk you really don't want to take anyways, so...
Now, those are things we've talked about because we don't do it like you do it, but we have done this where, especially like behind apartment buildings, at the beginning of end of a month, when people are moving out very often, instead of taking things to donate, they're just like bagging up stuff they can't take and they throw it away. And so it's the same kind of thing. You pull out these bags out of the dumpsters and there'll be housewares and just clothes
Amazing
and
stuff.
just all kinds of stuff, you know. And it's mainly just because people are under stress, I guess, because they got to get from one place to another, and they don't have time to deal with it. You know?
There's a lot of stuff that gets thrown away during moves and stuff, and largely, like, it might not even be like people might want to redistribute their things, but they just get overwhelmed and just have to throw it all out. You know, I think that happens a lot because I think people are always surprised how much it sucks to move. Every time you do it, you kind of forget.
I mean, I think the other thing, too, is that it's almost like people want you to take it. Like when it's New York, we'll walk around on the streets when we know it's garbage day, and people actually put stuff out in the open
for you to take.
Take. I mean, like they know they don't want to take it to actually get it donated, but they don't really want to get it thrown away, and they're just hoping someone grabs it, and very often that's us.
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot in Montreal, too. I'm glad people do that. I think it's actually better a lot of the time, because I've seen, like, secondhand stores throw it, too, and they throw it a lot, so... Mm-hmm. Like, in some cases, it's more effective just to put a box in front of your house and say free stuff, you know?
This is where I think you've been evolving. You know, as far as when you bring the stuff home, at first it seems like it was more you were giving it away to like your friends, your housemates, you're putting stuff in your own home for a use. It sounded like you're doing like a yard sales.
And Craigslist and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it sounds like that's still happening, but it seems like in the past since May, you've been trying to sell on eBay in a more concerted way. Is that correct?
Yeah. I've, over time, I've definitely gotten better at the whole eBay selling aspect. Like, I'm getting a lot better returns, I think, for a lot of my better stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm making a lot of nice sales. And I know, like, definitely getting better.
Yeah, and so I think just for people hearing this, because we've talked about pulling stuff out the garbage and people will groan or like think it's so crazy, but you're finding things that are amazing, like medals and old records and really cool things, and you're putting them on eBay. And I was looking at some of the prices that you've been getting just in the past 4 weeks. I mean, if you're selling stuff for $100, $200, I mean, This isn't just like, $10 junk. This is
$100 junk.
Right.
Like that's pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. Like, I think back and I think of how all these things I've sold for less than I should have. And, I mean, that's part of the process, but
right.
I think now I'm at the point whenever I'm finally starting to get top dollar for the things I find.
Well, I want to talk about that in a bit because we would like to talk about more of the details of eBay, but since the people hearing this are people they're like the both of us, they sell on eBay. Can you talk about your process of putting stuff on eBay? Like, do you have days where you just focus on a listing?
Yeah, that's what I've gotten to do. Like, this is really my most recent evolution, is trying to schedule stuff. Because before I was just kind of living in this chaotic realm where there's so many things I could be doing at any given time, and I would just do none of them because I would just get overwhelmed.
Welcome to eBay.
Yeah.
Everyone is like
that.
Yeah. So, now I'm trying to do more like, I'll go out on a garbage hunt in the morning, and then I'll spend the next whatever. When I get back, I'll spend 5 hours doing listings or something like that, or photography, or my blog. And so I try to delineate different days for different things. Basically, that's the main.
I mean, that's what we talk about, is that the listing part is the unglamorous part of eBay or any online, it's marketplace. And that's really the thing that divides the people who are hoarders and the people who actually are making a living doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And, and that's just where you just got to put your head down. And, our thing is just trying to do a small amount every day, do 10 things a day or 20 things a day if possible, but just do it every day, just a little bit.
Yeah, I've gotten better at avoiding. I don't know. I enjoy listing in the end. Like it is unglamorous, but it's kind of exciting, and it's satisfying knowing you're getting this profit from, especially something that you paid no money for.
Yeah,
it's especially nice.
Now, as a part of a listing, the big part is researching, and I am assuming with the items that you're finding, these old, funky, really weird items, what is it your process like of learning about the item itself?
Yeah, I'll look on completed listings on eBay and stuff like that, current listings. Like sometimes I have no idea what an item might be or what its history might be. So
yeah.
There's also like one resource I like a lot is there's the website Reddit.
Yep.
There's a subreddit called "What Is This Thing?"
Yes.
Which is really really good because they can help kind of identify like old glasses and stuff like that. I mean, like I have a Murano glass thing that helped me identify. And so that's good for, and there's translator. Like if you find something that's
Chinese,
or something, you can you can totally get that translated by someone, and it's all that's a great resource too. So that's something I've come to use a lot more in the researching of my items.
Yep.
But otherwise, mostly like eBay, complete listings.
Yep.
See what prices are realized or other sources.
I love hearing that because that's what we tell everyone. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. And people subscribe to these, like, places where they pay, $10-20 a month for someone to tell them how much things are worth. And really the best thing is, eBay completed items. And you can go there and you just can kind of see what is sold and the average price of things, and that's really the easiest way.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a great judge of the market, I guess. Like if you look at that information, you can really tell what you can probably get for your whatever it is.
Now, I think the other interesting thing is right now you're just selling things on auction, and I think that happens to we're not auction people. We like to do things on fixed price. Do you find that the auctions are helping you get the most amount out of items?
I'd actually say that most of my items are buy it now.
Oh, they are?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
But but I have kind of a hybrid approach right now. I kind of keep changing around what I'm doing. But yeah, I tend to do auctions whenever I think there's a bidding war potential.
Right.
Or like I try to judge like whether there's because some items are really niche, so it's unlikely you'll find you'll get a bidding war, but someone will pay you $100 or something. But with some items, it's pretty much a guaranteed bidding war, and that's when I like to use auctions.
Gotcha.
I also like to use auctions whenever I don't have complete information.
Right.
And sometimes I'll put a really high price at first just to see. Like the other day, I started an auction for something at $300, and I kind of figured that was a crazy price. I just wanted to see how people reacted to it, and no one bought it. But now I know.
Now,
it's probably not worth that.
Now, just so as you know, what we do is we'll put something on fixed price. So we might put it at $300, but then we add make offer on it. So if someone thinks $300 is too much, they may come back and say, "I'll give you $240," and we're like, "Wow,
great!
I would have taken $100. That's great."
Yeah, that's a really good idea too. Actually, like I was actually just thinking about that today. Like maybe that should be. That's a thing. Like I'm still like learning and all that. So I kind of like that idea actually.
Now, on auctions, because there are a lot of people that still love auctions, and the big thing is the bidding war. Now, is it happening often where you'll put something up hoping it gets a bidding war, but then it just gets a bid or two and it kind of sells low?
No.
Good.
The thing I guess is like I don't know. Like this is a very recent thing I've been doing, but just with the auctions, I always start at a higher price. Like I don't start at a price I'd be unsatisfied in receiving. I don't really like the reserve stuff because people don't seem to like the reserves, so I'm not going to do it.
Right. So you just started at where
you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I start like close to where I'd be satisfied. Like if it just got one bidder, then whatever, good for me.
Well,
I'm not sure if that's the best strategy or whether I should just go for a buy it now. But
I guess
sometimes I need the money right away too. So I guess
Sure. Yeah.
I guess the only
That's a good-
thing against doing it like that is just that the listing fees. I'm not sure exactly how much, if you start something off at $300, how much that costs you in a listing fee.
That's true.
So if you were to sell a lot of things, your fees could be a little bit higher. But I guess really, again, it's whatever works. At the end of the day, if you're able to pay bills, then that's what matters,
I should definitely. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure all these things out, and I think I'll probably end up going back to the buy it now, except for maybe the rare occasion whenever I'll do an auction, but.
Now, that being said, one reason why a lot of people do auctions is because of storing their inventory. Now, if I understand correctly, you're in an apartment with a roommate, so how do you store these items, and are you having a hard time keeping up a large inventory?
Yeah, it's hard for me to keep a large inventory. Like I don't really have that much storage space here, but I got a little storage unit, so I could have a little bit extra space, but.
Oh, really?
Still, yeah.
Look at
like
you.
a very small one. But it's still something. So I mean, it's I don't have enough storage really.
Right.
That's kind of a problem.
Well, that's the other thing that I think separates people that are kind of hobbyists versus people who really go full time is storage. That's always a problem that everyone has to deal with. Like where does that happen? And if you have a lot of items and if something sells, how do you find that thing? And so you got to figure out how to numbering a system or something. Everyone has their own way of doing it.
Yeah, like I'm still at the point where I know where everything is, I guess, because there's not really that much. Like I want to get more things. Like now my process is to get more and more things on eBay and stuff like that. Like I'm still only at 52 current listings, which isn't really that much.
Right. I always tell people to imagine this. Imagine if you were to walk into a store and they had 50 things on the shelves. That's a really small store. So we always imagine, like what size store did you want, and that's kind of how to think about it. Yeah. So, but the bigger you get, the more problems or more challenges. More challenges. We like to say.
So when you're selling on eBay, are you selling? You're in Canada, so are you selling to everywhere? U.S., Canada, England.
I mostly do Canada, U.S., unless there's something I think will have specifically international appeal. Usually, I find the amount of buyers in the U.S. is sufficient to do most of my work.
Yeah.
Like everything that any collector's item that anyone wants will be there's someone in the U.S. who wants it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Basically.
I'm always amazed at this, and other people may know this, but I learned this a couple of years ago. Canada is a huge landmass, but there's only, I think, like 29 million Canadians, which is tiny population compared to America.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good a market.
Yeah.
Like most of my items I do sell to the US.
Right.
It's about, I guess it's like 10 times larger.
Right.
The US than Canada. So.
Yeah.
But,
And, Americans love to buy things, so.
That's true.
Yep. Now, this is the other part of being a seller online, shipping. Hey, let me guess, are you still at the thing where you just box everything up and take it to the post office?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, because you're in Canada, can you print labels off of eBay for Canada Post?
Yeah, actually.
Ooh.
But I have to get a printer.
Oh, you gotta find one in the trash. Don't people throw printers away all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're broken, right?
They're usually broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I haven't even tried.
Yeah.
There's part of me I'm not very good technological in some ways. I really have to get back on the Windows, I think, because I tried installing a printer on Ubuntu and it didn't work.
Oh no!
Because I wanted to start doing that because I know I know it's good.
Yeah, I mean, the benefits are threefold. Number one is you don't have to wait in line and go to the post office and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And number two, you get a discount, and eBay actually gives a pretty deep discount on postage. I assume maybe that might not be true in Canada.
You'd have to check for Canada, but I would hope that they would.
I think it's supposed. Yeah, it's one of those things I keep thinking about, but putting off. I guess. Like I think that is true, and I think there's also maybe like even a free tracking number or something.
Yes, that is very
Tracking,
important.
right.
Yep.
And all that stuff. And I don't know how it is in Canada, but here in America, like you can have the post office come and pick up at your packages. So we just like print it out online. We put the boxes out on our porch, and they come and they just pick it all up. So we don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah, we love it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's truly a land of opportunity. I don't know if we can do that up here.
Yes.
I think I'll still have to walk to the post office.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe. Okay.
But still, pretty good.
I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
again, I think all us sellers deal it's with this, you know, and then eventually if they're like, man, I'm going to the post office once or twice a day, you know, I'm having to take 10 boxes in my hands. I mean, you know, there's got to be an easier way.
Like
And
you said, more
there's-
challenges.
Yeah, more challenges.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here's the other thing. Dealing with customers. Have you been having any issues or any stories about dealing with people buying things from you?
I've had a really good experience overall. Actually, I haven't had any returns or complaints or anything like that.
You
Good.
just wait, my
You
young
just
friend.
wait.
Yeah,
More challenges, like we said.
I'm sure it'll pop up at some point.
Yeah.
Like in general, I think I'm good at like photography and describing the items, which I think is important. But still, I mean, I think it's just a matter of time until someone.
But the cool thing of
Does-
hearing you, Martin, is that you sound like a natural, because that's exactly right. I mean, if you're taking good, clear of photos and showing multiple photos and you're writing an honest description of the item, then people get it and they have the right expectations, you know, and that's how to do it. So you're like way advanced already. That's good.
Yeah, I think in that way I'm doing pretty well. There's other stuff I have to learn, but I am good at that.
Now, have you had anyone want to send an item back or get a refund?
No, not yet.
Good.
It's that's probably part luck and part skill.
Yep.
I think that's one of the benefits because we sell a lot of the same stuff, these like a one of a kind, a vintage items. Very often the people that want those things, they don't like to send them back, you know? I mean, they're looking for a particular thing and they know it's special and that's what they want, you know? It's different if you're just trying to sell like iPhone cases and people get grumpy about that stuff, so, you know.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess maybe another thing is like I usually offer no refunds.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure what your thoughts on that is. But
Oh, we have thoughts. Trust me.
I think the thing is ultimately there is no that's not possible. That if they want a refund, they can get one. They can open up a case against you, and eBay or PayPal will make you take a refund if they say that there's something wrong with
Item
it,
not as described or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ultimately, I know people like to do that, but ultimately that's not the way it works.
So we offer a 30-day refund return policy on anything.
And we get about 2%, 2 to 4%, 2 to 4% of the people that buy our items send it back. So, you know, out of every 100, 2 to 4 come back to us. And that's
just normal.
That's just like any store. I mean, it just happens. So.
And do you think people buy from you more because of the offer a refund?
Yes, I do.
And I think it's pretty clear that eBay puts us higher in the search rankings because we have a more
generous policy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
So that's something to think about.
I've been thinking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about is it the buyer pays return shipping, or how does that work? If you don't mind me asking you.
Yeah, so generally, like, okay, we sell a lot of clothes, and if someone's like, these shoes don't fit, we're like, great, just send it back, and we don't pay any of the shipping because we put the measurements and the size
measurements
and things like that.
Very rarely, like 2% of the things that people send back, do we pay the shipping because I mean. We're good at what we do.
I mean, like you said,
we've done everything right, and if they choose to send it back, that's their choice. So they have to pay to ship it, and no one complains about it. So.
Yeah, like you said, you take good photos, you do good measurements, titles, and descriptions. You know, it's very rare for someone to say, "Item not as described. I'm returning this," and you have to pay all the shipping.
But if we've done something wrong, we take its responsibility for it, and then it will pay. And those are just things then we learn something new and we're like, okay, it's next time, don't do that.
Right. It's rare though.
All right.
So can you talk a little bit about the numbers that it's doing? I think I read since May you made about $1,200 on eBay
Yeah.
in about the past month.
Yeah, about the past, well, maybe past month and a half or so.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
That's pretty good from just finding stuff from the trash.
Yeah.
And it's good considering I still have a lot more to put up and all that stuff, or that I'm getting better at putting things on eBay. So it's kind of, it's getting better.
Now,
I think I can do, the more I organize my stuff, or the better organized I get. And this is giving me some more ideas too. I think the more I'll make, for sure.
So why don't we talk about a perfect world here, okay? So we're living in a perfect world. How many items would you like to keep in your inventory? Like, how large of a store?
In an ideal world.
I mean, ideal, but also like thinking of the kind of storage space that you actually have or could get. I mean, like, what's a reasonable amount of items?
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Like 5 times. So if you have 50 items up now, I mean, how many could go up? 500?
Oh yeah, I think so. It's just like now my mindset's a bit different. So like sometimes in the past I've just sold things at yard sales for cheaper.
Yep.
Knowing that, I was losing a bit of money, but I wouldn't have to put in the work into doing the listings and all that. But now I'm a bit more like pro listing.
Yeah.
So I think the more I'm finding more stuff now that I'm going to just list on eBay.
See, we were probably the people who were buying from the yard sales. So you would have a yard sale, and we go and buy from you and sell online. I mean, what's the most that you ever sold something for in a yard sale?
Maybe like $20 or something like that.
Yeah. That's about as about as much as most people want to spend. I mean, that's
unless
a lot
they're
of money.
buying a car at a yard sale or something.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, I like yard sales for selling stuff like that's worth under $5 or $10 on eBay, because then I don't know if it's really worth the effort.
So what kind of numbers are you wanting to make every month? That's another question. Like that for us, we always had number goals. Like we want to make this amount every day, so it's this amount every month to pay our bills plus some. Yeah,
I mean, I think when we started to realize that we could actually sell a lot, we kind of did the numbers and figured out how much we needed to make every month to pay our bills. How much would that be in your case?
Well, my bills are really low.
Yep.
Good.
So I mean, I can make $600 a month and survive. Yep. Maybe not the most comfortably, but I can eat and pay my bills and stuff like that.
So then, if you made
I want to make more than that, though.
Right. So if you made $1,000 a month, that'd be a pretty comfortable lifestyle at this point.
Yeah, I'd be making some savings and stuff. I think that's totally doable.
I mean, that's doable.
You've already done that.
I mean, you did that in a month and a half, like starting out. I mean, that's really so doable.
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable.
I mean, I'm thinking in Montreal, if you need to start making money, let's buy like a little, it's like a row house.
Like a little bungalow. And
right. You could rent rooms out to friends of yours, like at a really good deal.
We're planning your life for you right now.
We could go scavenge, food, like dumpster dive, freegans. I mean, it'd be great.
We get jealous of people in the city sometimes because we think because we live in the country. We live out in the middle of Virginia. And so we get jealous because we're like, there's so many dumpsters. There's so much like crazy free stuff on Craigslist. Like we'd be doing that stuff like crazy,
I think there's a lot of, like, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this as a business, really.
Absolutely.
Like, I just realized, like, honestly, it's been like maybe a week ago that I realized, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Before it was just something, I might as well list some stuff on eBay and make some money. But now I'm thinking, well, I'm actually a business person.
I mean,
and I can do this business.
I mean, in all seriousness, because I think we're kind of the same way too. We were like, we aren't looking to be rich. Like, we just don't want to have to work like
we don't want to go
jobs.
To an office.
We aren't trying to like steal from anyone or rip anybody off. I mean, but it can be whatever you want it to be. I mean, we've posted it on our blog. We put pictures of the house. I mean, we basically kind of funded buying a cheap foreclosure home, and we fix it up based on the money we made on eBay. I mean, I mean, it's out in the country and it's cheap, but it's ours, and we have a bit of land, and it's so it's whatever you want
Sounds
it
great.
to be. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And I mean, can I ask how old? What are you, like 24 or something?
I'm 27.
27.
Okay, so there you go.
I mean, it's like, God, we didn't really start doing stuff like this till I was about 35, and I'm like, oh my God, I like had my head to the grindstone trying to work these jobs that I hated. It's like, oh my God,
Yep.
Sounds sounds great.
It's good to start early.
I'd like to live in the country again someday, honestly.
Yeah.
But for now, I like the city life. There's great scavenging, that's for sure.
That's right, exactly.
I sound like it's one of those like guys. It's like
a motivational speaker or
a
something?
motivational guy. I don't mean to be like that. I'm just like, don't waste your time working for other people if you can do this,
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, I think we're excited to see your eBay listings get really ramped up.
And we're going to put a link to our blog on this podcast to at your eBay store. I mean, I'm going through. It's like, this is all stuff that you found in bags of trash, like vintage perfume, vintage photos. I mean, these medals.
This ashtray, this like devil ashtray.
Yeah, I like that one.
That is amazing.
Like patches. We love those vintage patches, wood boxes.
Yeah. All this stuff.
Biking shoes.
Bike shoes, I always look
We
for
love
those.
finding and selling bike stuff,
Yeah. That was a great pile. I found unused bike locks, and some of them are the $80 ones, and
Jesus.
Yep.
2 bike saddles those were nice sales too.
Yep.
But people throw away great stuff.
Yep. So what is your goals in? I mean, now that you're thinking about this, I mean, it's not that I'm trying to ask you to plan it's your whole life. It's for us. But, being new, kind of having gotten a taste of this, like, what do you think you're going to do in the next 6 months? Like, what do you hope to do if we talk to you in January?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'd like to get, I want to get organized and maybe, get at least a few hundred listings on eBay. Maybe figure out how to optimize my storage space and all that stuff. So I hope to increase the amount of money I make to the point wherever I'm making. Like right now, I'm still kind of living the bohemian poor person life, but ideally, I'd like to live a slightly less poor people life.
Yeah.
So if I can increase my monthly earnings to maybe $1,500 or something, I'd feel very rich. Yep. Montreal is a pretty cheap city to live in, so that would be great.
Yeah, I think that town is my second favorite place in all of North America.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to everywhere, but it's New York is number one, and it's
Montreal,
a second favorite. Yeah.
I still haven't been to New York.
Ooh,
I'd like to go.
Yeah, and honestly, it's New York. We were just there for 4 nights, and it's becoming so rich and kind of fancy and ritzy that it's not. I mean, it's still cool, but it's definitely different vibe than it was.
The real estate's so high that it's pricing out all the like young people, basically.
But like we were in Montreal a couple of years ago and stayed in a neighborhood. I forgot which one it was, and it was just real.
It was great. We loved it.
Real great place.
Yeah, it is, and it's great because there's all the French things kind of scare people away too.
Like we couldn't read the parking signs. We had to like translate them. We're like
on our phones. Yeah.
That's it. Like my rent's $400 a month, which I think with everything included.
Yeah.
And in New York, I'd probably be paying over $1,000 easy.
Yeah. You'd be paying a lot.
It'd be so much harder to maintain this kind of lifestyle.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
But that's smart. I mean, as a scavenger, I think that's what all scavengers have to do. I mean, if you're going to lead this kind of a lifestyle, you have to figure out how to cut expenses. I mean, you call it it's bohemian life, but I think it's more of just being frugal, and we're like that too. And that's one reason why we moved to the country was we just didn't want to have to pay a lot of money to live. So that means we don't have to work as much, to make the money we need to have a comfortable life. And at the end of the day, we own our own time, and that's really the whole goal.
That's the dream.
We're living the dream.
I'm a motivational speaker.
You're motivating people to go through the trash.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question is, so you're a guy who so far is trying to make a living, and so far it looks like it might work, getting stuff out of the trash and selling it online. What do your friends and roommates think of this?
They seem to think it's pretty cool. Like I still I do like wish lists and stuff. Like people ask me for things, and eventually I will find them.
Nice.
Like one of my friends asked me for radios.
Yep.
Just so he could, the ones that take all the D batteries and stuff like that.
Yep.
Because he wanted to have a dance party up on the mountain, and and so I just found a bunch of radios, and
Yep.
like they're not really worth anything to me.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing
Yep.
that stuff, but yeah, they think it's pretty cool. Like I've been in the newspaper and
I saw that.
CBC News.
Yep.
I mean,
nice.
at 6 or whatever. So I mean, I'm on all this media, and that's kind of cool too.
Yep. I mean,
So-
do any of your friends, does it connect to them that you're actually making a significant amount of money while they're working for whatever, $10 an hour?
I don't think so that much.
Yep.
Like most people still well, I mean, I guess maybe they make the connection, but they don't necessarily envy me.
Yep.
Because I think they don't really understand
Yep.
how I do what I do.
Yeah.
Or like people don't understand how I find such good stuff. Like it's really an art.
Yep.
Yep.
And most people, a lot of people are afraid to even open black garbage bags.
Yep.
Like I've talked to a lot of people who just don't understand.
They're like, aren't there bed bugs in there, and garbage
Rotting
juice, and like
food.
there's rats. And,
I mean, those things do exist, but
Yeah.
I guess I have a strong stomach too. Maybe that's
Yeah.
part of it.
I
I know my stuff.
Yep. Well, look, we are really happy. I know we've been trying to talk to you for the past month or so. We're really glad we got this to work. The internet worked for both of us, and we really loved hearing the story, and we really wish it you well, and we want to follow up. We would love to talk to you again, like after it's Christmas time. Christmas time is when everyone sells everything. We'd love to talk to you in January and just kind of see how things are going, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just read your post about summer sales being slow,
Yeah.
and I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Sales have been a bit slow recently, but
Yeah.
So I look forward to Christmas season this year whenever I have hopefully at least 100, 200 listings. Like I think this time last year I might have had 25 or something.
Load
So
up.
I'm already
Load
at
up
double.
now.
Yeah.
Like
You
by
need to list
like by September or October, you need to have a full store, because that's when people start buying for Christmas and holidays, and it's your kind of stuff is a perfect kind of stuff for cool gifts and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I look forward to it.
All right. Well,
Okay,
thank you.
well, thanks, Martin. We're so glad to talk to you.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you're ever in Montreal, you can.
We know where to
on our
go.
Oh, we're so gonna go through the garbage with you.
Yeah.
We would. That's like our dream.
Oh my god! I mean, we just talked about that. Like, we hate, people go on vacations to beaches. Our dream vacation is going to Montreal and going through the
Go
garbage
through the
with Martin.
dumpsters. Yeah,
That's our
that
dream
is
vacation.
like
All right.
a cocktail on the beach. No. The dumpster behind someone's apartment.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Martin.
All
See
right.
ya. All right. Bye.
Bye.